Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a wonderful day. I just wanted to give a quick update on the in the bag situation. We're about halfway through the year. Gotten a new bag, got a couple new discs that we've added in there. So I just wanted to kind of go over what we got in the bag right now, what we're rolling with. We got a couple big tournaments coming up, kind of in the year where we're out of like a bunch of experimental testing and stuff like that. So I just want to give an update on what disc I'm bagging. I just want to give an update on kind of what I mostly throw out of all the discs I have in here, and a couple of why are those in here type of deal. So we'll go ahead and start with just the bag. We got the pound Octothorpe attached to a Mojoh riser. Keep it off the ground, keep it nice and clean on bottom. We got a water bottle, a couple towels, got a charger and stuff in there, a couple extra towels. Got the little suction cup grabber. We got a bunch of minis. Got a couple of these Team Circle 1 ones that we have here, made by a guy on Circle 1. And then we'll go ahead and get right into the discs. So we'll go ahead and start with putters that I have. So putting, I have been putting with the Inner Core for the better part of probably about a month now. And it's definitely underrated. I know a lot of people throw them and really like them as throwing putters, but I have probably about 10 or 15 Inner Cores that I practice putting with. They're great. For my throwing putter, however, I do actually have a Keystone custom dyed by WeDyeYouFly. I have been throwing Keystones or having one in the bag for probably about a year or so now. This one's kind of getting a little warped after hitting a couple trees, but definitely love the Keystones for throwing. Great flight out of them, great finish. We're actually going to move over to look at our approach disc that we have. So first one I have up here is the Slammer. If you've been following any of my videos or played tournaments with me, you know that the Slammer is something I've had in the bag for almost probably a year and a half, 2 years, right in that area. Overstable, great approach, not a lot of glide. When it hits the ground, it's done. So that's the first one. The next one, we actually have a Zone OS. I did not bag any disc craft, definitely not any zones before this, but I found the Zone OS and the Z-Flex. I love how it feels, and I love the little pedal top that it has. It is very, very overstable, extremely reliable fade, and yeah, so it's kind of in battle with the Slammer for me. So you guys let me know which one you would bag out of these two, or what I should bag out of these two, and yeah, so they'll be kind of interchanged depending on how far or how much glide we need out of it. And the last one is actually the Armadillo. I know a lot of people bag the Berg, and it has the very same or very similar numbers to this as a 1201, but I enjoy this on just a super light backhand, or even on a, you know, a very light forehand approach. This is kind of my, I don't need it to dump out super fast approach disc. This is the one I would use right here. But I think this is a pretty good trio that I have here of disc. I can get this one to go pretty straight before it dumps out. Zone OS, obviously very overstable, and the Armadillo is just very slow disc that will pretty much hold the line, fade out, stick on the ground. All right, now we can get into all the fun discs. So we'll go ahead and start with our mid-ranges like everyone would. First up, we have the Trust. This is definitely still one of my go-to, you know, under 220 foot approach shots that I just need to dump in left there at the end. This would be the one. That's number one. One of the newest ones I actually just picked up is this Thought Space Mono. A 5.5 -2 1. It plays more with a 1.5 finish than the 1 really, but definitely already flippy, out of the box, brand new. Love it for just a nice easy straight shot, nothing crazy. I will be looking to probably get a Savea, more than likely, to complement this as just a straight no fade disc, and those two will go great together. So we'll probably be adding that soon. And then the Justice it's overstable. It's a faster slammer, lots of overstability, a 0.5 turn with a 4 fade. So it's not getting turned over, it's going to fight through the wind, it's still going to finish to the left or to the right, depending on if you're backhand forehand. This fun little middle ground is a 6-speed servo. I know a lot of people throw the Crave, so they're very familiar with this disc. This is my first time actually bagging one and using it pretty consistently. But I really love how it flies. It has a very straight, a very little bit of a right turn, but then it definitely always fades out for me at the end. It's definitely a good middle ground between trying to throw like an Explorer and a Trust. It sits right in the middle for me. So great disc, glad to have in the bag. Onto our fairways, we'll start with the bottom three, as I would call them. Very bottom of the stability list is the diamond. Extremely flippy. If I turn it over, it's going to hold. It's not coming out of that. Lightweight, a lot of people kind of diss on it. You know, it's a lightweight disc. It's too flippy for them. Not going to throw it. But as someone who doesn't throw forehands very often, having a backhand disc that will flip and then hold that line pretty much until it runs out of speed or until it's on the ground, absolutely perfect for myself. Next up on the understability, we have the maul. I can get this to hyzer flip and hold for about 250 or so before it wants to dump out, but I also enjoy throwing it on a little bit of a turnover, and it will actually hold a little bit longer than the diamond, as it's a heavier weight, not lightweight, and it can kind of hold that turn all the way through its flight. And lastly, we have the jade. Funny enough, even though it's lightweight and a -2, this does not hyzer flip as easy as that maul does. It actually, I am required to throw it flat and let it do a little bit of a turn before it steadies out and then still fades out. So the one definitely still has a 1.5-ish finish to me instead of a 1. So my bag is sorted via speed and stability. So we're kind of working our way up the speeds and stability. As we get to the top, you'll kind of figure that out. The dynamic duo I have here, we're just doing both together. Both of these are stags. This one is 171 grams. This one is 173. So this is 173, 171. And yes, that 2 grams makes a world of difference when throwing these two, because this one will want to turn and it takes a little bit longer for it to fight out of it, giving a longer flight. This one right here, if I throw it straight, it'll do a little turn, but then hold and then still dump out at the end. Love both of them. Not going to ever probably take a stag out of my bag. I'll always at least have one in there. Next up, for same disc, we have 2 Explorers. This being the more just kind of neutral one. It is just a normal opto, or sorry, it is a kind of a opto chameleon. Anyway, Explorer. So very reliable flight. As you know, most of you probably have thrown an Explorer or throw similar to it, like a Thunderbird or something like that. So very good. This is Opto X Explorer. WeDyeYouFly also did this one with the Ricky signature. Much more overstable than the previous Explorer. This is why I keep it in the bag. It's more of a 7.5, you know, maybe 0.52, 0.53, somewhere in there. So if I need something that I can start on anhyzer and expect it to come back out, this is probably going to be my go-to disc for a 7-speed. Moving on up, we have come to the Getaway. I actually don't throw this disc too much. Very reliable, very fun disc to throw. If you put it on anhyzer, it's going to fight out of it after about 175, 200 feet and play to that 3 fade that it has. But for a straight throwing disc to get a little bit of turn for a 9-speed, I keep it in the bag. I definitely enjoy throwing it on a low straight line, letting it do a big skip over and not be too overstable to where I can throw it and get a good flight out of it. Probably the most interesting disc I have in my bag for me, because it's a Discmania TD at a 10.5 -2.1, and let me tell you, it is not a -2. I have not gotten this thing to flip up, turn over. If it starts on anhyzer, it's fighting out of it almost immediately, but it does go very straight, it does go very far. But -2 is not what I would put here. I would definitely leave this at a 0, more like a 10.5, 0.2, 0.3, depending on the occasion. But definitely love having at least a good 10-speed that I can just rip on and know that it's not going to fade out or turn over too much, turn into a roller, kick off trees, all that sort of stuff. And for the most overstable disc I have a cap wrap. This one's pretty self-explanatory. If you need wind fighting, if you need a good forehand, you need it to skip, whatever the case, this is what it is. I don't really forehand it too much, except in really certain scenarios, as if, you know, the slammer or something won't get me there, I'll probably forehand this and let it rip. I know it's not going anywhere, but it's fading out to the right on the forehand. And lastly, for my distance driver, and the only one I have in my bag, I have a Bolt at a 13.6 -2.3, and it is beat into the point where if I do throw an anhyzer, it's going to hold that for quite some time. So throwing it flat, if not with a touch of hyzer, is the only way that I'm getting it to go out and kind of turn and then still fade back. Great disc though. I recommend anyone that has, you know, maybe a little bit of, not a weaker arm, but you can't throw anything really above a 9 or a 10. If you're looking for a driver just to throw in an open field, I do recommend the Bolt. Extremely helpful on courses where it's open, but it's very far. I'm probably not going to get anything else. Anything else there. This will probably get me that extra 50 feet of distance on my overall throw if I throw it correctly. Maybe next would probably be maybe something like a Stag or a Vandal. once I get one of those back in the bag. But definitely the bolt, if you're looking for something as an MA2 player, as an MA3 player, to where you can start ripping on and beating in, the bolt beats in very well, gives you a little bit of turn and a beautiful flight. But that is all I have. I don't really bag too many discs. I know a lot of people have a ton of drivers, or maybe they have a ton of mid-ranges. I have a lot of fairways. That's just kind of my game. Sitting right in about that 7 to 8 speed, the occasional 9. Love my mid-ranges. I'm throwing those as well. I need to throw more, and I will be in upcoming tournaments. Experimenting with some approach discs. Been loving my putters. Inner cores have been dialed in, looking great. But that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, any recommendations, what I should bag, or maybe if you see some overlap here that I could get rid of, feel free to leave those down in the comments. But other than that, that's about it. We're gonna be doing some tournament prep here soon, or we're already in tournament prep. So we're already in tournament prep. Tournament's coming up in about 2 weeks, and then about a month after that, we got another big one. So looking forward to those, looking forward to really putting my skill and these discs to the test, pushing up and hopefully, probably a top 10, top 5 finish. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to see more of me throwing these on courses, let me know down below. Leave a like on this video. All right, appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you next one. Later.